Right now at 5, a family got trapped under a fireworks stand as severe storms roll through Vernon County. Hear how they made it out safely.
And after a few showers and storms yesterday, temperatures heating up and drying out across the area. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Baxter Springs firefighters will soon show off their brand new fire department. We have a sneak peek.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowe.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday. It's July the 1st. So we are getting into the thick of summer at this point for the month of July. And it's going to start to heat up today. Nothing too terrible, but still warmer than we were the last couple of days. And we're going to be drying out, at least for most of us, over the next several days as well. Let's start with a look outside downtown Pittsburgh. We've got mostly cloudy skies this morning, even have some patchy fog out there, which we'll discuss in just a moment. But eventually we'll clear out and, like I said, we'll warm up. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline looking good as well this morning. Taking a look at the fog tracker. So along 54 from Fort Scott back to the east towards Stockton, we've got some reduced visibilities. Joplin just slightly reduced, but around the Grand Lake area, and of course that stretches into western McDonald County. We've got Grove down under a mile, so just keep that in mind as you're traveling this morning. Some of that patchy fog out there. Now, earlier this morning, we had zero visibility in Iola at about 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning, so watch out also for the potential for some rapidly changing visibility conditions. I forgot to take that strong storms thing out, but don't worry, no storms to talk about, just those partly cloudy skies out there as we head into the afternoon. And the other nice thing, at least for today, is our winds will be out of the north at about 5 to 10, so that does help a little in reducing the humidity, dew point levels a bit. It's a cooler, drier air, and so we won't have to deal with significant heat index values, at least not through today. City at 66 in Joplin right now, 67 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, temperatures look like this. We've got some upper 60s, even some mid 60s out there for some of us, and then others, especially a little further south, got some low 70s. Looks like Nowata is the warm spot there at 72 this morning. Temperatures, again, warming up nicely today. We'll have partly cloudy skies out there, going right around the mid 80s, maybe some upper 80s here and there. And as I mentioned, that north breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We do have some pop-up storm chances, but outside of that, we're not looking too bad. We'll have a full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Authorities in northeast Oklahoma are investigating the discovery of human remains. The Delaware County, Oklahoma Sheriff's Department released word yesterday evening saying the report came in around 11 yesterday morning of remains discovered in a field north of Jay. Apparently, a person found the remains while brush hogging. Investigators have since confirmed that the remains are human. Now state officials are trying to determine the identity. You can look for updates on KOAMNewsNow.com. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Vernon County, Missouri authorities say Sunday storms brought damage primarily in the northern part of the county, taking down trees and power lines. The manager of the fireworks stand at the Nevada Speedway says her family was trying to hold down the tent as storms picked up. Now, when she saw how serious it was, she drove her truck underneath to try and get her family in a safe place. Before they could leave, the stand collapsed down on top of them.
Before we could get out, it collapsed around us. I had my daughter and my daughter-in-law actually made it out. Me and my son-in-law was beside the truck as one of the main center poles came down. And if it wouldn't have been for the truck that the center pole stopped, very good chance I wouldn't have my son-in-law today.
Now, she says first responders were able to help get her family to safety. Now, with support from the community, they're working to reopen in time for the 4th of July. In Springfield, Sunday's storm knocked out power for up to 37,000 customers. This was the second emergency in 2 months for the city's utilities. Crews worked through the night, managing to restore power roughly 29,000 homes in under 24 hours, but they still have a ways to go.
We did rent some equipment for this week. We rented it for 2 days, and I've already made the call to extend it for a full week. We were going to try to make a short week of it for the 4th of July, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case this year.
There are a couple of things you can do if you ever experience a power outage. One, check your weatherhead for damage. That's the part that connects the power line to your home. Now, if it is dangling or appears bent, you need to call an electrician to fix it. And if you have a fenced-in backyard, unlock your gate and secure your pets so crews can safely access where they need to work. The Baxter Springs, Kansas Fire Department is moving into its new fire station this week. 15 months after construction began on the facility, the $3 million facility replaces a fire station that was built in 1926. Funding comes from state and federal grants. The department has provided a sneak peek inside. Firefighters have been assembling furniture and installing equipment. This coming Saturday at 9:45 a.m., trucks will parade from the old station to the new one. That will be followed by a ribbon cutting ceremony and open house until noon. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump has announced that there's a buyer for TikTok and that he'll reveal them in about 2 weeks. Plus, the Senate is racing to pass the GOP budget bill before President Trump's Friday deadline. And we have a hot and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch, President Donald Trump says there is, quote, a buyer for TikTok, but he's not saying who it is. In a Fox News interview that aired Sunday, President Trump said he will disclose who it is in about 2 weeks. He gave a hint, though, saying the buyers were a, quote, group of very wealthy people. Trump said that he thinks he will have to get China's approval for the deal to go through, though. It's been about 5 months since a law went into effect requiring TikTok to be banned in the U.S. unless it was sold off by its China-based parent company. Trump has in turn signed 3 orders delaying enforcement on the ban. The deadline for TikTok parent company ByteDance to hand over control of TikTok U.S. operations is now September 17th. Well, some lower court judges will have to revisit their decision on transgender health plans and birth certificates. Monday, the Supreme Court tossed aside a handful of lower court rulings that sided with transgender Americans. This comes in the wake of a blockbuster ruling this month that upheld a ban on gender-affirming care for trans youth. The justices upended rulings that blocked state policies from excluding coverage for gender-affirming care in state-sponsored health insurance plans. The High Court also threw out a ruling that blocked Oklahoma's attempt to stop transgender people from changing the sex on their birth certificates. The justices ordered the lower courts to review the cases again. The clock is ticking for the U.S. Senate as lawmakers pulled another all-nighter to try and pass the GOP's big budget and border bill ahead of President Trump's deadline this Friday. The president took to social media overnight to advocate for the bill while also upping the ante on his on-again, off-again social media feud with his once close ally, Elon Musk. Naomi Ruckham is monitoring the votes from New York.
No.
The marathon vote on amendments continued overnight as Senate Republicans raced to pass President Donald Trump's massive spending package.
This is Congress's job, and by God, we ought to do it.
The bill includes an extension of the president's 2017 tax cuts, his campaign promise of no tax on tips, a new tax on wind and solar projects that use materials from China, and increased border and defense spending. But lawmakers in both parties have come out against its steep cuts to Medicaid.
This bill is going to ruin people's lives.
Fiscal conservatives have balked at the latest Congressional Budget Office report that predicts the Senate's bill would add up to $3.3 trillion to the deficit over the next decade. On social media, President Trump pushed to get his one big beautiful bill across the finish line by his July 4th deadline, calling the legislation the greatest and most important of its kind in history.
Republicans need to stay tough and unified during the home stretch
and we are counting on them to get the job done.
Overnight, the president also reignited his feud with billionaire Elon Musk after Musk threatened on X that any lawmaker who votes for the massive bill, quote, will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing I do on this earth. President Trump fired back, suggesting his administration should take a good hard look at government subsidies for Musk's space, internet, and electric car companies, adding there's big money to be saved. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Even if the bill passes the Senate, it still has to go back to the House for final approval. Yesterday, House Speaker Micah Johnson expressed optimism that the legislation will reach President Trump's desk, though he says he has cautioned the Senate to keep their version of the bill close to the package the House passed last month. Well, still to come, new research suggests that police methods for spotting marijuana-impaired drivers may not hold up to science. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, a worker narrowly survives a close shave with a semi. Drivers spot a fireball flying overhead, and one woman is asking for help solving the mystery of what she saw in the sky. Patrick Cornell has those stories, and take a look at this.
Dramatic dash cam video captures the moment a semi smashes into a bucket truck, leaving a utility worker upside down, hanging by his harness. The safety equipment saving the worker, who only sustained minor injuries.
That is a mandate that we have. When you're in that bucket truck, you will be having that harness on.
Watch again as the semi takes too wide of a turn at the intersection in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, crashing into the bucket, causing this incredibly close call. Police are investigating whether charges will be filed against the driver. And folks on the road captured the incredible sight of an ultra-rare daytime fireball cruising across the sky, rocking people below with a sonic boom. The American Meteor Society says it received numerous reports of a fireball in the southeastern U.S. Thursday. It's a special type called a bolide that explodes in a bright terminal flash. The National Weather Service reporting the phenomenon potentially captured on satellite radar. In Henry County, Georgia, a resident claiming a rock slammed into their home at the same time as the fireball. Photos showing it smashed through the roof and ceiling, then cracking the floor of the house. Finally, a Massachusetts mystery. This unidentified object in the sky has one woman wondering, what in the world is that thing?
My heart was pounding because I just looked up. I'm like, oh God, like what is about to happen right now?
Colleen McCormick snagged an 8-second clip of the aerial episode Wednesday night from her home.
I see something like falling down from the sky. It had like blinking lights and like looked like it was like on fire or something. And it was just coming down really fast. I had no idea what it could have been.
Neither do authorities. The FAA, along with the Pembroke Fire and police departments, saying they didn't get any reports of debris in the area.
Hopefully I'm not the only one that saw this. I'm not going crazy.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Quite the mystery. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got some cloudy skies out there this morning. They will begin to clear as we head through the morning into the afternoon, leaving us partly cloudy. Also have some patchy fog to deal with, and then temperatures starting to heat up as we get closer to the 4th of July. We'll have a full look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Well, welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 521 on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start with a live look downtown Pittsburgh. Again, we've got mostly cloudy skies out there to start our Tuesday. We'll get a little more sunshine as we head through the morning hours. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline also looking good as well this morning. Other than, again, just some of those clouds here and there. Temperatures aren't too bad. In fact, some of us a bit below normal out there this morning. We also have some patchy fog. Now, again, some of the most dense fog right now is still around the Grand Lake area. Grove, you're down now under half a mile of visibility. So that's going to include northern portions of Delaware County, southern Otto County, and stretching into western McDonald County, even over toward Anderson, down at just about 3.5 miles of visibility. And then 54 from Fort Scott east towards Stockton, we have some slightly reduced visibilities as well. So do again watch out for patchy dense fog that could show up around there. Again, earlier this morning, like I said, about 3:34, Iola was reporting zero visibility. Obviously a significant improvement, but you just want to watch out for those rapidly changing visibilities. The future track for today, partly cloudy skies. And if you thought tomorrow was going to show you partly cloudy skies, well, wait until we head toward tomorrow morning and you would be correct again. partly cloudy skies for our Wednesday. Now we're going to start to warm up because, again, today we've got a light breeze out of the north. Winds will be calm or at least light and variable over the next couple of days, but that will bring in some of that warmer air, a little more moisture here and there. So not crazy heat index values, but definitely heating up compared to where we have been. As we head into Thursday, future track right now hinting at some morning type showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, but better data agreement is that we might see a few late evening pop-up storms. Nothing too wild there either. But again, we've been talking about the Thursday, Friday pop-up storms really since last week. So nothing to, worry about necessarily, but just to make sure you have plans in place. As we head into our Wednesday, we're already in low to mid 80s by noon. And as we head into the evening or late afternoon, early evening hours, we reach that peak heating. As you can see, just about all of us now pushing into the upper 80s. As we head into our Thursday, it's going to be another similar story with temperatures climbing once again. We're going to be getting a little closer to 90, if not into the low 90s for some of us, and that will be the case again as we head into the 4th of July itself. So again, some mostly cloudy skies, at least for some of us, to start the day out here. About 70s, so not bad by any means, and near 80 by 11 o'clock this morning. And we'll have partly cloudy skies heading through the afternoon. Temperatures eventually making, again, right about the mid 80s for most of us, with that north breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We head into this evening, and it stays partly cloudy through the evening and overnight. Winds again will either be calm or light and variable, so you won't really notice anything's actually going on, really. And we'll be back down into the mid 60s. So again, another night either at or maybe even a pinch below normal for some of us, which is nice because right after summer started, our daytime highs were only a couple of 3 degrees above normal. It was our lows that were like 10 degrees above normal consistently. So it's nice to get nice evenings out there. Again, cruising back up in the low 90s by the 4th. Got those pop-up storm chances out there. So as we've discussed, don't cancel your plans, but make sure that you've got a dry place to go, a dry place for the fireworks. And the big thing, of course, when thunder roars, head indoors, because very, very rarely, but occasionally, those storms can become low-grade severe from time to time. But either way, nothing to worry about. Now you need to cancel and go, oh my gosh, we can't celebrate the 4th now. Just watch out for those pop-up storms. Once we lose the heating of the day, of course, we'll lose those storm chances as well. That means firework time should be a great time. Still hot into the weekend, even hotter, getting close to the mid-90s as we head into our Sunday. Pop-up storm chances continue, and honestly, we're again at that time of the year where just about any day of the week we might have an opportunity for an isolated pop-up storm or two. Once we get into the 90s by the end of this week, we do not get back out of them for a while. Low to mid-90s through the weekend and the start of next week. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, 1 in 3 people say they wouldn't get tested for COVID even if they had suspected that they had it. A survey by the University of Massachusetts found some people say they don't see any value in getting tested, but doctors say this will likely make it even harder to stop the spread of future outbreaks. Researchers say the way police officers test for signs of driving under the influence of marijuana is faulty. An editorial published by the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs says while testing for alcohol is based on science, law enforcement testing for marijuana is relying on less accurate methods, including testing physical coordination, checking eye movements, and even squeezing the driver's arms to check muscle tone. Well, could eating cheese give you nightmares? A survey published in Frontiers in Psychology found many people reported a link between eating dairy before bed and having nightmares. Scientists say it's possible the dairy is causing gas or stomach pain, which affects people's dreams at night. 40% of the people surveyed said they believed what they ate at night affected their sleep. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, a summer food program looks to fill the gap for hungry families in Carthage.
Now we've got some clouds out there. A nice look at the sunrise from 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. We're going to be pretty decent for our Tuesday. Got to look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, how a new program in Joplin is tackling education and homelessness at the same time.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday. It's July the 1st. We're now moving into the end of the heart of the summertime.
Yes.
And, even though it only started, a little over a week ago.
Almost
like 2 weeks ago.
While,
it does feel like it's been like that for a minute. It got hot pretty quick.
It really did.
Across the area. And we've also had some additional shower and thunderstorms out there. But today, not too bad at all. In fact, take a look at this. We got a beautiful view of the sunrise as well from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh at 4th and Broadway. We've got a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies this morning. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin looking great as well as we get this day underway. Fog tracker, though, again, we do have some pretty dense fog, of course, around the Grand Lake area, and that stretches northern Delaware County, parts of southern Ottawa County, and into western McDonald County. And, of course, Grove reporting now less than half a mile visibility. We also have some slightly reduced visibilities along 54 heading east from Fort Scott back towards Stockton. So again, just keep that in mind. Low beams, not your high beams. And do watch out for the potential for some rapidly changing visibility conditions here and there where you may be okay for a minute and suddenly you're not okay anymore. All right, on to the future track for this today. We've got partly cloudy skies out there. We're going to have a north breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. So that helps keep the air drier overhead so we don't have to deal with significant heat index values because they'll be bringing in cooler, drier. Now, it won't feel cooler down at the surface, but that drier air will make a difference because we won't have to, again, deal with heat index values approaching 100, at least not for today. Sitting at 66 in Joplin, 67 in Pittsburgh. Some of us are actually a bit below normal. As we mentioned earlier, when summer began, we had our high temperatures, anywhere from 3 to 5 degrees above normal, not major. But our overnight lows were like 10 to 15 degrees above normal for the first week and a half of summer. Thankfully, not the case here now. We've got a lot of low to mid 60s, upper 60s, and even right around 70-degree readings. We'll eventually warm up, of course, today with a little extra sunshine, mid 80s, maybe some upper 80s here and there, partly cloudy skies, and those north breezes around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to talk about the summertime temperatures because we will continue to heat up, and we'll take a look at your 4th of July forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, summertime can also mean scam season for some businesses. The Regional Better Business Bureau tells us scammers can target a business in 3 ways: through stolen information, impersonations, and offering fake services.
Important to make sure you have a direct line of communication to your customers. Unfortunately, some businesses rely on a social media page as their web page. They don't have an email list. They don't have a good database of customers. They're relying on social media to communicate. If something happens to your social media account, you need to be able to email your customers. You need to have another way to let them know that you've been hacked so they can be on the lookout if someone tries to contact them.
The BBB says businesses can protect themselves and their customers by maintaining a direct line of communication. And now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, the 3rd annual Freedom Party brings families together to celebrate their loved ones in recovery. Pitnaz Church, along with Pittsburgh Celebrate Recovery, hosted the event that started with tasty food and then transitioned into moving testimonials and the program's monthly chip ceremony honoring milestones in recovery.
I think probably one of the things that makes me smile the most is just when you see the people that are coming in that have been here for 1, 2, maybe even 3 years, who were possibly struggling in some way when they started, and they're doing very well today, not solely because of us, but that we are a part of that. But then at the same time, almost every week, we get to meet someone new.
Now, after the worship service, attendees headed back outside for games and fireworks. Last night's family-focused event highlighted freedom in Christ, community support, and the joy of recovery. The Missouri Job Center in Joplin is taking a unique approach to helping young people get a new start in life while also addressing homelessness. The new YouthBuild program is aimed at helping 16 to 24-year-olds earn a high school diploma along with an education in construction leadership and community engagement. Organizers say these students will use these skills by building houses for people without homes.
32-week program. We'll be doing 3 cohorts, and we'll be doing follow-up for a year to make sure that they're either furthering their education, employed, and that they're being successful and have those supports in place for them.
Good. It's very individualized. Each person is sort of on their own path, and throughout it all, you work at your own pace, and it's helped a lot of people, including me.
Organizers say they are currently looking for a contractor, and anyone interested should contact the center. And kids in the Joplin area get to hone their survival skills thanks to a 3-day summer camp. Camp Wildcat teaches young naturalists such wilderness skills as cane pole fishing, shelter building, compass and map skills, leatherworking, and so much more. Organizers hope the fun camp gives kids a better understanding of conservation.
It's important for them to learn about conservation and how that in all ecosystems, everything works together and everything has a purpose, even if they don't like it.
Camp Wildcat welcomed kids ages 7 to 14. Now, in addition to learning, campers also received lunch, snacks, a water bottle, and a backpack. The camp runs through Wednesday. The Grace Episcopal Church is sponsoring its Lunches of Love feeding program to help Carthage families. Its goal is to fill the gap in food access between the end of summer school and the start of the new school year. All families with children are eligible, no application needed. Each child will receive 1 bag of food on Mondays and Thursdays during the program. Each bag will include a variety of foods, helping ensure kids get the nutrition they need even when school is out.
We learned a couple of years ago that after the school sessions are out, including summer school, that there wasn't a food program for these students that would normally get the backpack snacks from Bright Futures and through the Y. So we took on that mission last year, and we were able to deliver about 250 upwards to 300 packages twice a week.
Organizers say no family should feel ashamed to ask for help when times are tough. And let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Home Depot makes a multi-billion move to grow its building supply network by purchasing another Georgia-based company. Plus, Lululemon is suing Costco over trademark violation. We'll have the details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, backyard cookouts, barbecues, and block parties. You may want to hold the beef this July. Danya Bacchus tells us how to get the best deal on your plate and still enjoy classic favorites this Independence Day.
Yeah, I think so. Darla and Kanan enjoy getting their 4th of July favorites from Handy Market in Burbank, California.
Tri-tip. We love tri-tip, mac and cheese, watermelon, you know, good mix of everything.
Wells Fargo estimates this year a 4th of July gathering for 10 people will run you about $130 for food and beverages. That's up 2.2% year over year.
Everything's gone up, everything's expensive.
Yeah. If you're looking for savings,
steaks, throw it on the grill.
Wells Fargo suggests swapping out a favorite.
You're going to be paying more for your beef this year. That's because of strong demand for beef as well as supply shortages of beef.
Ground beef prices hit a record high in May, just in time for the summer grilling season. Ranchers have been dealing with drought, high grain prices, and inflation, forcing many to reduce the size of their herds.
An easy win there would be to add chicken to your menu. That's a great value.
Economists say it's about shopping smart this 4th of July. Take advantage of in-season domestic produce like watermelon and strawberries, and even broccoli and cauliflower. Economists recommend consumers comparison shop for better deals. You can often do this online. Instead of pre-cut fruits and veggies, buy whole and cut at home. For soft drinks, buy the liter and bring cups. It's likely cheaper than the can. You can also divide and conquer.
Maybe think about this being an option for BYOB for your guests. Have them bring items, some different beverage items to help with that.
For Darla and Kanan, price isn't going to stop the fun.
You know, you got to celebrate.
And have festive food for a happy 4th. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Burbank, California.
Well, Home Depot continues its push into product distribution. The home improvement chain is purchasing another Georgia-based company, GMS, in a deal worth $5.5 billion, including debt. GMS distributes specialty building products like drywall and steel framing. The deal is expected to be finalized by early next week. Lululemon is suing Costco, claiming trademark violation. The lifestyle and athletic wear brand is accusing the wholesale retailer of copying its clothing designs and selling copycat products that are difficult to distinguish from authentic Lululemon apparel. Costco did not immediately respond to requests for comment. And Bath & Body Works is celebrating Summerween. The retailer is releasing a line of more than 70 scary sweet body care and home fragrance products in scents like Vampire Blood and Ghoul Friend. The company's more than 30 million loyalty program customers can already order the new collection online. For everyone else, the line hits store shelves on July 7th. That's a look at Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
We've got some partly to mostly cloudy skies across the region this morning. We also have some dense fog out there. We'll take another look at your forecast, talk about the warmer weather and the 4th when we come back.
Well, how many acres of corn, soybeans, and wheat did farmers plant this year? We have an update in today's Ag Day Minutes.
I'm Michelle Brook with today's Ag Day Minute. USDA on Monday releasing a new snapshot of how many acres it believes farmers planted this year of the major crops. It says farmers planted 95.2 million acres of corn. That's up 5% from last year, but down slightly from what it predicted farmers would plant in March. Now for soybeans, it says 83.4 million acres were planted. That's down 4% from last year. Wheat at 45.5 million acres is down 1% from a year ago. How much is corn worth to the U.S. economy? The National Corn Growers Association conducting a study saying corn farming is one of the largest sectors in American ag. It says last year farmers grew just under 15 billion bushels of corn that was valued at more than $64 billion. It adds corn farming for grain generated an estimated $123 billion in total economic output last year, contributing $50 billion to the gross domestic product. And another report says kids and teenagers are consuming fewer calories from fast food. The report from the CDC says that age group consumed an average of just over 11% of their daily calories on any given day between August 2021 and August 2023. That's down nearly 14% from 2013 and 2014. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on this station or get updates at agweb.com.
Let's head over to Chris for a full look at your forecast.
We've got that patchy fog to deal with. I mentioned earlier this morning around, I want to say it was 3:30 or 4, Iola was at 0 visibility. Then things improved greatly. The last update on the fog tracker was about 8.5 miles. Now you're back down to half a mile. So that's what we're talking about, some of the rapidly changing visibility conditions. So Iola, you are back down to half a mile, and then 54 stretching back toward the east and even now west toward Yates Center. We've got just patchy fog up there with some reduced visibility. It's also starting to impact parts of Pittsburgh. Grove, you've seen some improvements, but the Grand Lake area is still with some dense fog out there. So northern Delaware, western McDonald, southern Ottawa counties. And again, this goes back to watch out for those rapidly changing visibility conditions because our fog tracker is set, it updates every half hour. So I highly doubt that just all of a sudden a blanket of fog rolled in on Iola, but you got to watch out as you're traveling this morning. Of course, remember, low beams, not your high beams in the fog. Future track, once we get past that, we are looking at partly cloudy skies out there today. We're going to have a nice light north breeze, and the reason that's important is northerly breezes, they will typically bring in cooler and drier air. Now, we're not going to really feel any cooler down here at the surface, but the drier air above means we don't have to worry about significant heat index values like we did last week, but that will progressively begin to change. I mean, we are into July now. Be partly cloudy throughout the day on our Wednesday, and then we'll have an opportunity for some isolated pop-up storms as we head into our Thursday and into the 4th as well, which we'll talk about in a moment. Temperatures for tomorrow, we're going to be pretty decent today, mid-80s. It's tomorrow we go into the upper 80s, starting to get a little closer to 90, especially the further west you go. And as we head into our Thursday, we'll continue that trend of getting back into the upper 80s and starting to get somewhat closer to about 90 degrees. 90s, if not even some low 90s eventually. And as we roll into the 4th, same situation out there. We're going to really start to heat up. We're going to start to feel like summertime. It'll feel like the 4th of July. It'll feel like a barbecue season as we start to get right around the low 90s again. Beautiful sunrise from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Just a great blend of colors there. Starting day 70, again, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. Then we'll have partly cloudy skies beyond that. Around 80 by 11 o'clock this morning. Into the afternoon we go. Partly cloudy skies will continue. As I mentioned, that north wind at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. And our highs today right about the mid 80s. And partly cloudy. This is a new broken record, but honestly, I think it's a better one than saying triple-digit heat all the time. Partly cloudy skies through the evening and overnight, and we'll be back down into the mid-60s, so at or even, again, just a little below normal, which is also a nice break because once we switched into summer, not only did the daytime temperatures take off, our overnight lows were 10 to 15 degrees above average for almost a week and a half straight. So while our daytime highs, thankfully, weren't 10 to 15 above average, we just weren't getting any overnight relief, which we will continue to do, at least through tomorrow night. We'll get those pop-up storm chances. Like I said, just remember when thunder roars, head indoors, and because they're pop-up storm chances, it also means that all things being equal here, they start to die out once we lose the heating of the day, and most folks, as far as I know, set off fireworks after dark, so we shouldn't have any rain chances to worry about for fireworks time on the 4th. Heating up into the weekend, low mid-90s, and that will continue as we roll into next week. That's a check of your forecast. Here's Elise now with sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, we're 1 month into the 2025 regular season for the Mid-America League, and the Joplin Outlaws find themselves alone in first place with a record of 21-7. One of the biggest reasons for their success has been great starting pitching. Joplin Outlaw Ty Zardanik is named Pitcher of the Week by the Mid-America League. Now, he joins his teammates Cole Gaiman, Connor Johnson, and Easton Wren, who have previously received this award. Now, one of the 5 times it's been given out this season, 4 have been members of the Outlaws. Zardanik just completed his redshirt freshman year at UT Arlington. Now, in 5 appearances for the Outlaws so far this summer, he's got a 2-1 record and an ERA of 2.49 to go with 33 strikeouts over 21 innings pitched. He got the win on the mound this Friday while throwing 7 innings and allowing just 1 run against Abilene. In Major League Baseball, the Cardinals are riding a little momentum after sweeping the Guardians in 3 games over the weekend. But last night is where that winning streak comes to an end. The Cardinals get shut out and held to just 4 hits as a team in a 7-0 loss to the Pirates. Pittsburgh exploded for 6 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning to put this one out of reach. The Cards fall 47-39 on the season, still 3rd place in the NL wild card. These two will play each other again tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Royals were up in Seattle, and the All-Star break can't come any sooner for them. Entering last night, Kansas City has lost 7 of its last 8 games. The Kansas City Royals continue that streak. They fall 6-2 to the Seattle Mariners. And that's a look at sports. We'll be right back. Well, drone deliveries have arrived in parts of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. DoorDash with a human driver is already pretty efficient, but a pilot program by Flytrex takes the delivery service to the air in the form of drones. The service is available in a 2.5-mile radius in the cities of Little Elm and Frisco. Operators say drones don't have to drive through stop signs or wait for pedestrians and streetlights, which guarantee a 5-minute delivery from the moment the drone takes off. Flytrex say their soft launch pilot program has completed around 1,000 deliveries. If you've ever thought that eating pasta makes you happier, a new study conducted in Italy shows that it does, in fact, have the ability to lift your mood. Now, with funding from Italian food company the Barilla Group, a research team explored the psychological and emotional effects of pasta consumption. Unlike other foods, it was found that pasta seems to boost happiness and reduce stress, particularly when enjoyed in social settings like family dinners or gatherings with friends. Now, the more than 1,500 Italian participants, 41% of respondents associate pasta with family, and 21% link it to positive emotions.
I think pasta is just fantastic, and it fills you up sometimes. You know, if you're ever like kind of hungry, you need something to carry over, a little bit of spaghetti sometimes will do just that. Also, by the way, I think I mentioned this before, cheese. I know we ran a Health Watch story about it, but cheese boosts your mood too. If you're craving cheese, it means you're a little sad, you're a little down. Cheese, I can't remember the exact thing.
So
but
that
must
mean mac and cheese.
That's the perfect combination because the cheese releases some endorphins and boosts your mood. And pasta apparently makes you feel better and think of home. So if you mac and cheese, man, that's the perfect mood booster right there. And today, not a bad day for some mac and cheese. Maybe you'll have some for your 4th of July celebration coming up this Friday. Partly to mostly cloudy skies through about 8 or so, 70. Near 80 by 11 o'clock this morning. Starting to go partly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon. Highs right around the mid-80s, so a little warmer, but the air will be dry, so we don't have to worry necessarily about high heat index values with a north breeze at 5 to 10. Winds will be calm or light and variable overnight and will fall back eventually into the mid-60s. I know everybody's talking about the 4th, so gets a little hotter tomorrow, a little hotter into the weekend, low 90s out there, maybe even close to mid-90s by next Sunday. Pop-up storms possible, so again, don't cancel your plans, just have a dry place to go. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.